Hello and welcome to Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. Today, our special guest is Mike Haydon, and Mike is the CEO of the Off-Grid Shop. What's happening, Mike?
Well, we're down here in sunny Australia today. It's sunny. We're about to hit our wet season, so going into a rainy season, so not good for solar.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I think rain's a conspiracy. You know, it's like put up there to make solar not work or something. But
Exactly.
One of the weird good things about solar is when there's a drought, it makes us look good. So even though like droughts are bad and cause fires and all that kind of stuff, it makes it, you got to look at the bright side of everything.
That's it. Lots of free energy.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what's happening with you and the Off-Grid Shop.
Oh, yeah. So look, the Off-Grid Shop, we've been doing solar and batteries for over 15 years. We mainly we started off doing off-grid because, when I first started and got in the industry, the whole grid connected feedback to the grid is something I didn't really believe in. We focused on energy sovereignty was what we did.
Uh-huh.
So
All right.
batteries has always been a big thing of what we've done. So I think in the last 15 years, we've got less than 20 solar systems out there that don't have batteries in them, and they'd most likely be commercial systems. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, batteries are our thing. So we've been doing that. In the last few years, we've been actually doing more and more grid-connected systems.
Oh man, you're selling out to the grid. I kind of like the way you started, like not doing any grid-connected systems. That sounds cool.
Well, the reason that we've started getting involved in the grid is we've actually got a unique software, which is a peer-to-peer energy trading platform,
Uh-huh.
which allows us, one of the biggest problems with feeding back to the grid, people install solar and they're thinking of the feedback to the grid, and we don't have net metering like you guys had in the States. So in Australia, you sell it for 5 cents and you buy it for 50 cents later on, where I know in some of the states you've got the net metering where it's 1-for-1.
But in Australia, you guys have a lot more solar. Is that mostly just because it's less expensive?
100%. I remember, the brand SunPower.
And when I say a lot more, I mean per capita.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of solar, but also, it's so much cheaper. I remember quoting up I was doing some work with some company in the States and looking at the price of a SunPower system in the States compared to Australia. It was crazy that we could import American panels and install it here for 1/7 of the price.
1/7 of the price for importing from America. Wow.
To Australia.
What's that all about?
I think it's the way the finance works in the States and commissions paid to sales reps. I know I've been offered some jobs to work in the industry doing sales for solar companies in America, and the commissions are crazy. You guys pay your sales reps more commission than what we actually make profit per system here in Australia. So yeah, it's interesting.
Wow, that is pretty crazy. So, I mean, do you have a price per watt just so we can, what do people pay per watt for a solar system over there compared to here?
So we've got this new program at the moment called Cheaper Home Batteries. So in 10 weeks, we installed 100, not the Off-Grid Shop, I wish, as a country. We installed 100,000 solar systems in 10 weeks because the government was giving $17,000 rebates. So it worked out to be $1,000 a kilowatt hour, Australian dollars, which is like $1 American.
Can we go back? How much was it?
So it was US, it's $600 per kilowatt hour. It was costing our customers US to have 50 kilowatt hours of battery installed in Australia.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So they're only paying $600 US, 1,000 Australian dollars per kilowatt hour of battery installed.
Wow.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow. And then what was the rebate again?
So it was 17,000 Australian dollars.
You said it in Australian.
17,000
17.
Australian.
Okay. All right.
Probably about 12,000 US.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's pretty good. That's another good reason why things are happening. So it's just a rebate that you install the system, they give it to you.
That's it. And so they run it it's been for the last 6 months, and that all changes as of May this year. It drops to about 6,000 Australian dollars. So probably about 3,000 US. It'll drop down to that there. And the rebate's not on the bigger batteries anymore because the money was getting eaten up so fast out of the budget. They've reduced the amount of battery capacity you can put in for the budget. So yeah,
Wow.
they really changed it.
Well, pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a wild ride the last 6 months.
And I guess too, you're pretty much like right in there with Asia and nearby and all that kind of stuff. So really close to get stuff, but shipping doesn't really cost that much. So it's politics. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, look, and a lot of our products that we do use and install are Chinese-made products. They're quite good quality. So yeah.
Cool. And you guys don't have tariffs?
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Only on American-made stuff.
On American, really? Are you serious?
No, I'm joking. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, it changes every 5 minutes at the moment. So we're allowed to ship things to America. Now we are. And it's, we start that.
Okay. So back and forth to America, there's not free trade, but to other places there is.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
yeah. So it's fun times.
So when did you, like you said, you started off just only doing off-grid. How long ago was that?
That was 15 years ago.
15 years ago, and then just like doing all kinds of off-grid stuff. So that sounds pretty cool. And you're still doing a lot of off-grid?
We do, and I suppose the reason we do a lot more grid connected now because of the rebates, but also we have a peer-to-peer software which allows us to trade energy. So, my mum's 500 kilometers away from me, and she can buy my excess solar and batteries from me. So I can set the price between my mum and I. So that's one of the biggest reasons we started getting more into grid connected systems.
That's so cool. What do you call that?
So the program's called Local Volts.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's just a peer-to-peer energy trading platform. I know it sounds flash, but it's just a big Excel spreadsheet in the back end that when one of our customers is selling to the grid in the middle of the day and the other one's buying, we just match up the trades on the back end and they buy peer-to-peer.
And is that your software?
No, it's not. We're involved with the company heavily.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they approached me back in 2022. Well, actually, 2017 is when we got involved and started working together. And 2022 is when we went live on the network and we could actually use the software in the program and make it all work.
That's pretty cool. So you need to have the policy to do that, of course.
That's it.
And we don't have that policy. Can you come over here and give us your policy?
Well, I went to Texas last year. So I went to Texas, Boston, and California. And so our software can work in Texas. Yeah, it's all ready to go. The local energy network's down there.
Does it work like the Texas government lets you do that? Like the grid?
Yep.
And I've heard some people talk about things like maybe virtual net metering. Would you call it that?
Yeah, that's very similar to what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like you're making extra electricity, but maybe it's not, because you said you don't really have net metering. So maybe it's not really net metering, but you're making electricity and you could have like double size system at your house where it's sunny. And then where somebody else is, like your mom, then you give her half your electricity.
That's it. Yeah. As long as you're connected to the same network, and so Texas is a good one to talk about because they're isolated. They're not connected to the network.
Like ERCOT. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in Texas, they're local. Everyone in Texas there can share their energy between each other. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. We need to do some more of that. So do you hear that, people? Go make sure that your government and your PUC changes and let us do this kind of freedom stuff that they're doing over there in Australia. Okay, I think they listen. I think they're doing it right now.
No, that's it. So, but yeah, so it's great. It's really a game changing. I know a lot of when people invest in solar or set it all up, you're really relying on government policies and what the feed-in tariffs are from the networks. Where with what we do with the peer-to-peer energy, we can set all our prices. And so, one of our main core businesses here in Australia at the moment is we go find local businesses that want to save money on cheap energy because mums and dads are normally at work. So we take that excess solar and batteries and we sell it to the local business, and we're keeping more money in the community by doing that as well. So,
yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's just awesome. We need to do that. So,
yep. So that's mainly what we focus on at the moment with the grid connected sort of stuff is selling the energy peer to peer, so to local business owners. So yeah.
So that's what you call it, like peer to peer energy. Like if we wanted to do a bill, what would we call the bill, or like run it through Congress or something like that? We would call it like peer-to-peer energy. Like we have other things like community choice aggregation, community solar. We need peer-to-peer energy.
So it's not a bill that you require. It's just actually a retail license. So in Texas, so it's a $400,000 license that you're required to get. Once you've got that license, and then we can set the peer-to-peer up. So it's just about how we build. That's all it is. Any retailer can offer it. So nothing needs to go through Parliament. Someone just needs to cough up, buy the energy retailer's license and put the software in and offer that to customers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could imagine like people would be against that if we started doing that, like, like Public Utilities Commission, utilities, things like that. They would be losing their control, letting people send electricity to each other. In fact, they say here that it's against the law to take an extension cord and put it over your fence and give neighbors your electricity because the utility has the God-given right to only sell you with their monopoly and not let some neighbor put an extension cord over the fence. It's like make it your own utility. Yeah.
So look, I'll talk about Texas because I was there. And so look, the utilities, they still make money because you have to pay transmission costs. So there is a cost to pay the utility. They do not care. So they still get their fees. It's up to you what you charge the customer. And so Local Volt's the business that we work with. How they make money, they only charge $1 a day. And then everything else is left up to the public to trade and do what they do. So they don't set the prices or get any involved in that. So they make a lot less money doing what they do. But the utilities still get paid their fees because there is transmission costs that because you're transmitting the energy over the utility, they get paid that, and Local Volts handle all that. The software does all that. And then it's only the cost of the energy is what you get to set the price on.
Okay. And then for your mom, do you like charge her quadruple of the retail rate?
So what I was doing with my mum, so I can actually, every time she uses energy, I was charging myself $1. That was reducing her bill. So if that makes sense. So I was charging myself $1. So she's literally getting paid $1 every time she uses energy at her place from me.
Oh, so you changed it around and she doesn't get free electricity. She gets paid for using more.
Yeah. So that helped to reduce the cost of the service fees and the transmission costs and all that sort of stuff. So the whole intention of me charging myself to give her energy is that she got a free energy bill.
So the more she uses, the less she pays. Like she gets paid $1 for using electricity.
Yeah. So she takes from my solar, she'll take $1 a kilowatt hour every time she uses something to cover.
Do you catch her like leaving the windows open and then like turning on the heater and the air conditioner at the same time? Does she have a Bitcoin mining rig?
No, I've told her she's still pretty frugal. She's not like that. So I just use it, whatever, go crazy.
Put some EV chargers out there and
So I'll be there at Christmas with my electric car. So I'll be definitely racking up a bill there at her place with my electric car, charging my car at Christmas. So.
And then she'll be making money off you.
Exactly.
That's pretty good. So that's a good. So you're taking care of your mom. You have a creative way to take care of your mom.
Yep, that's it.
She makes money by wasting the electricity.
Yep.
All right. So for the off-grid shop, so is it like, do you retail or wholesale sell solar equipment? Like,
yeah, so we design. Most of our customers come to us. We're pretty lucky. I love the whole off-grid self-sufficiency life. It's energy sovereignty has been a big part of what we do, and that's why we love the peer-to-peer stuff as well. Yeah, so we're lucky. People come to us. They brought a block of land, and they're looking to go off-grid and build a house and start from the start. And we're lucky to be involved in that whole process. We can help them design their house, and because if we can help them, what we've always sort of focused on, the more energy efficient we can make the home, the smaller the solar and battery system people require. So the best money has always been spent on designing a house that's energy efficient, because then if you don't need a heat or cool a home, you don't use much energy is the reality. So
yeah, and I think like as far as countries goes and stuff, there's a lot of open space in Australia, right? Like for the amount of people, there's a ton of open space, but a lot of it's kind of in the middle where maybe it's not the best climate, and a lot of people live around the coast.
Yeah, I think Australia, I think it's like 97% of our population live on 3% of the land in Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're all on the coast, we're all in floodland, and the desert. We don't have desert cities like what you guys do. People just don't want to live out in the desert here, so we don't. It's never really been built out. So
do you want Phoenix? Maybe we'll give it to you.
So a lot of our solar farms do go over the ranges because, the weather's always great over there. And on the other side of the ranges, we've got the cloud and the rain and the intermittent weather. So a lot of our solar farms do go in Australia down the east coast. There's a great dividing range, and it's literally green on one side, desert on the other side. So they attempt to put all the solar farms on top of the great dividing range on the other side where it's sunny all the time. And then we all live on the cloudy, rainy side. So humid.
All right. So when people are doing the off-grid, are they in the populated areas, that 3% where people live, or do you find people doing the off-grid stuff in places that are like way off the path? So
where we live, and even when I lived in Sydney, you only need to travel between an hour and 2 hours on the outskirts of a little country town or from the east coast, and a lot of places are off-grid. The cost to get transmission to people's properties, and that's what we've been competing with over the years, is the cost of poles and wires. It could cost $100,000-$200,000, where we've been able to service people for $30,000 to $50,000 for a little system to help get them off grid.
Yeah, Australia is kind of famous for single wire earth return. Do you know about that?
Yeah, we got a lot of single phase, a big problem here.
Yeah, so they call it SWER, And what they do is they boost up the voltage, they bring one line, and then the return line is the earth.
Yep, from the
So
ground.
it's the earth return. So it's like if you're ever driving around Australia somewhere and you see like one power line is like, where's that circuit? The other part of that circuit is going through the earth.
Yep, that's
So
it.
you get that voltage up there, and then it can overcome the resistance of this planet. So
Yep, that's it. So yeah, we run at 200. We're meant to be at 220 volt, but most places are 240, 250 volts. So yeah.
Great. We interrupt you for a very important announcement. Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast has been brought to you by Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. That's right, Sean White is sponsoring his own podcast, and he wants to remind you to go check out some of his classes. You can go to SolarSEAN, that's Solar, SEAN.com, and then click on the links to check out his classes. You can check out his heat spring classes, and you can also hire him to teach classes for you, like at your company, something like that. Now back to the show. And so you go to these places, and what type of off-grid systems are you seeing? Are you doing the installation? Are you selling the equipment? Are you like seeing places that are networked together where like communities are sharing solar systems, or is it just like everybody has their own like full on sovereignty? Or like even if 4 people live in a house, maybe each person has their own solar system too. Like, I don't want to share with my brother.
No, so look, over the years, a lot of the systems we've done, we design, we sell, we install, we handle the whole process for the customer. Most properties, they'll have one system per household. And we've started a lot more microgrids, where the technology is really advanced these days, where we can really easily microgrid it and make everything match up and work and talk with each other. But there's also the other thing, a lot of the properties, we're doing a project in the new year where it's a 100-acre property. It's literally 15 minutes from my house in town. It's closer to the beach than I am. It's completely off-grid. But there's 3 houses that go on that property, and they're 100 meters from each other. So it's actually cheaper and easier to put a system at each property than try and make a microgrid and dig the cables between everyone's houses. And so we just put 3 off-grid systems on the property, and they're good to go.
Great. And so remind me what city you're in.
We're in Lismore, which is just outside of Byron Bay. So we're 50 minutes from Byron Bay.
And I'm not even I mostly know Sydney. I did a class in Sydney, and then I stayed, I think it's called Stanwell Park. Have you heard of that place?
Yep.
Yeah, it was like this cool little beach town. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's it. So no, we're a 9-hour drive from Sydney.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're an hour on the plane.
Great. Good. All right. So are you doing things like little microgrids, or like connecting together multiple houses, making little villages, little microgrids that are village microgrids, or anything like that?
Yeah, we've done a couple of microgrids. We did a microgrid. We started involved in that in probably 2017. We designed, and this is what happened. So it was a eco Hamlets, what they called it. It was 8 different houses on the property. And so we designed the whole property. We had a cable run through the center of the property that everyone could connect to. We put pits in. And so when they finally split the property up and sold it off to join the microgrid, only 3 people decided to join the microgrid, because everyone that brought into the property said, nah, I want to do my own thing, and they didn't get involved in it. So there was a lot of wasted infrastructure, considering that only 3 people out of the 8 shareholders decided to join the microgrid.
Maybe they'll decide to join it some other day. That's kind of interesting too. Like, so you're running some lines, copper, aluminum or something underground in a trench, and then they split up the property, and then they sell the lots after they split it up. So like, what would happen if the line was running across somebody's property that didn't want to participate? Could they go in there with their backhoe and break the line and say, you got to pay me $100,000 to fix it?
No, the way we designed it, there's a big main road that comes through the property, and the cable runs straight on the edge of the property, and everyone's off that. So the way the eco Hamlet that we were involved in works, it's a the shared property. So when you buy in, you own the shared community property, which the cable runs on that shared property. Then everyone owns their own 2.5 acres. So it's a 60-acre property. Everyone owns 2.5 acres each out of the 8 people, and then the rest of it's shared. They own that as a part of a business together. So it's all shared community property.
Pretty cool. We should make some eco Hamlets over here.
Yeah. So yeah, they're definitely good fun. I think it's with the whole energy thing, it's really hard to design a system for different people, especially off grid. You don't know. Like, we've installed tiny systems, 3 kilowatts of panels, 8 kilowatt hours of battery storage. Customers are happiest people in the world, all the energy, they never run out, they're great. We put systems in that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're always upset, they're always unhappy because they use more than what we could design the system for their budget. So that's one of the hardest things when you're trying to design a system, because some people want to use a ton of energy and some people don't. So that's when we designed the microgrid. When we did it all, we gave the option, okay, well, if people want to connect and get involved, they can. If they want to do their own thing, great. Because some people are happy using gas cooking. I'm not a big fan of gas these days. Like, the technology's come so fast, you don't need gas. But a lot of people trying to save money, and they use the gas cooking and not spend the money on solar and batteries. So
let's say you have an eco Hamlet microgrid, and there's a bunch of people on it, and one person uses a whole lot of electricity and somebody else doesn't use much.
Yep.
So what happens there? Is there like a backup generator that turns on sometimes? The people that don't use it very much, what if they were like, I don't want to use any generator or electricity? Or did they have these complicated agreements?
Yeah, so it was an agreement with that one there in particular. We put in monitoring. So everyone that was using energy or sending energy back, it was monitored. And then same with when the generator was on, it was monitored that people, when you were using energy when the generator was on. So we had one main system in a big shed. That was the common system. And then that sort of was, took all the energy back, or the excess energy, or gave back to everyone else. And so, it was just agreements of, right, this is what it's going to cost everyone to use the energy. And one of the other tenants that they didn't actually put solar or anything on, they actually just put their house down, they connected to the commons area, and they just pay for their energy out of the common system. So they just pay a bill, just like they were connected to the grid, instead of investing in solar and batteries. So, that was another.
Yeah, so when something like that happens, though, what if like somebody wanted to use a ton of electricity and there wasn't enough electricity there?
The generator would just start, and they'll just pay their more expensive cost.
Oh, and that person that uses more would have a higher kilowatt hour price because they're making that generator turn on?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
So, they're paying for the diesel.
Maybe they would have something like tiers or something like that, where like if they use more, then the price goes up.
Yep, that's it.
Great.
So there's a project we're involved in. This is probably a good way to explain. So with the project that we're involved in, it's got solar, batteries, and a generator, and it's a whole island. And so there's 3 different prices. There's the solar price. When everyone's buying or selling, everyone gets paid the same. So of a daytime, it's 12 cents. They're all getting paid 12 cents of a daytime to buy or sell. Of a nighttime, it's 45 cents a kilowatt hour for everyone that's buying and selling on batteries. And then when the generator's running, everyone's either buying or selling and paying 85 cents a kilowatt hour. So if you've got solar and batteries working and the generator's running, you're getting paid the generator rate to buy and sell. And that's how the market in Australia actually works as well. How we price things in Australia on our energy network market is that whatever fuel cost is the highest that's running, that's what everyone gets paid. So if you've got cheap solar feeding into the grid and the generator's running, everyone gets paid the generator price.
But I could see like that maybe somebody uses 10 times more electricity than everybody else in the group.
Yep.
And they're causing that generator to be turning on, and they're causing other people to pay more too. I guess, is that what happens? Okay.
In the smaller system, they just pay, But that's, it just is what it is.
And then like if my neighbor was that guy using all that electricity, making my rates go up, I'd go get some wire snippers and I'd cut that guy off. No.
Yeah, so and that's why a lot of people that when they got to the community, they didn't want to join the microgrid. So it's a
and I'm just thinking of like a weird scenario or something. I don't expect it to be common, but
but that's why a lot of people do tend to do their own thing, because if you could solve the people problems, you could solve the world problems. So
I guess another thing though too is you could do your own thing and be like all independent and everything, but still connect to that microgrid and just not use the microgrid except when you're like, oh, I need to either turn on a generator or go for that microgrid,
Exactly. Yep.
That would be pretty neat. Well, I think you should come over here and tell us your better ways of doing things, because you have your solar systems are 1/7 the price or some kind of crazy thing like that. You have the most, solar per capita of any country in the world, I believe. And then you have this really cool thing that they only do it in Australia and Texas, where you can take electricity that you make and then give it to your mom.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's good for moms. If something's good for moms, it's good. Yeah. And you're such a good son.
But no, I'm always willing to come to the States and to get some education. So we've done a lot of consultation in America. So
Great.
It's been good.
Okay. Yeah, and I was going to say too, like I did that one class over there in Sydney. Maybe you can hook me up with some more classes in Australia because I'd love to have another excuse to go there.
Well, we actually, once a year, we run an off-grid workshop where we do it mainly for our customers, but we do sell the course as well. At the Microgrid, the property we did the Microgrid, the
great.
Eco Hamlet, we actually run the course there, and we have all our customers come in for a weekend, do a camp weekend, and we spend the weekend learn, talk about solar and batteries and hanging out around the campfire. It's great in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
So it'd be something for you. So if you want to come over for a winter.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, let's do it. That would be awesome. Yeah.
June, July. So I'll let you know the next one's on next year. So
yeah, I'd like to come over there, say hi to the Southern Cross, maybe go back to Stanwell Park. You know what I did there that was kind of weird is there was this old abandoned railroad tunnel and I hiked through it and it was kind of long. It was kind of spooky, especially if my phone broke and the light didn't work. Yeah. I'd have been in big trouble.
We've just had a new rail trail open up in the Northern Rivers, and you can actually ride a push bike through a whole heap of old rail tunnels. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then over here, too, we look at the eucalyptus trees as they're an invasive species because they're not from here and they cause fires and everything. So it was really cool, too, to be where like they were indigenous. If you had a redwood tree, that would be the invasive species.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. So that's pretty cool. I want to go over there and then check it out and go check out your little micro conference or whatever you call it. What do you call it?
Eco Hamlet's what the guys call the village. Eco Hamlet. So
the Eco Hamlet, Hamlet hangout. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. That would be a lot of fun. Okay. Well, good. Well, I hope to meet you in person sometime, and hopefully it'll be over there in Australia, but you're always welcome to come to this side of that Pacific Ocean, which is pretty much half the world. So
it's getting shorter. You can get there in like 15 hours these days. So
yeah,
pretty good. So one flight, not two these days.
Yeah, great. Okay, good. Yeah,
awesome.
Well, thanks for coming on. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Oh, good. Same, Sean.
Yeah, great. Okay. And so thank you so much, Mike Haydon, the CEO of the Off-Grid Shop over there in Australia. Got to go check him out. Get a good excuse to go to Australia. It's a beautiful place over there. And thanks for listening to Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast, where you can learn about solar and storage, and you can take some of my classes. You can get yourself NABCEP certified, and you can travel the world with your solar skills, and you can see all kinds of cool solar systems and all kinds of cool places. You can learn about off-grid, and you could also sell out and do grid tie solar. All right.